Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Just Talking. Today we're going to be talking about dating single mothers. Me personally, I find it very hard to date single moms because of their time restraints and just some of the things that come along with dating single moms. Maybe they have an ex-husband or a husband or a crazy boyfriend, a baby daddy that constantly interferes into the relationship. And so I'm going to speak about that. But first, I'm going to start with a post that I posted on my Facebook today. And it went a little something like this. There's nothing wrong with dating single moms. My only beef is the amount of time that they have. I have been waiting 2 weeks to hang out with this girl, and she's canceling. I do not prefer this. As a man, we can understand, but we need our time. So, many kidless women that can hang out in a heartbeat. So basically what I was saying is it's very difficult to date a single mom because there's time restraints. If she's a great mom, she's going to spend more time with her kids. Her kids are going to come first, which is something that I definitely respect. But you also have to consider that the time that you're not spending with me, it's not fun. And sure, if you're worth it, we'll be patient and wait for you. But what makes you worth it? You know, I look at it this way. I've dated women without kids, and I've dated women with a kid or several kids. And that I find that a woman who does not have kids can leave and do whatever she wants in a heartbeat. I prefer this because my kids don't live with me. And so if I say, hey, let's go somewhere right now or later or tomorrow without notice, we can hang out. We can do things, fun things. And there's no baggage. She doesn't have a baby daddy or ex-husband or a husband to worry about. It's just her. It's you and me. And so I said that, and of course, I expected this to happen. Women did not agree with me, and they were single moms. And every man who's seen the post agreed with me. See, we live in a society where women just expect for you to do whatever. Just because. And so what happens in my situation, I've noticed, is when I date single moms, I have to give them a heads up of when we're going to date. Sometimes it's a few days. Sometimes it's a couple of weeks. And what happens is a lot of the times they will need a babysitter. Sometimes they have little kids and they don't have bigger kids who can watch the kids. And I'll get into the difference of a single mom with young kids and a single mom with teenage kids. There is definitely a difference. And so in my experiences with women with little children, they have to get a babysitter and they need notice. So like I said in my post, I met this woman. She's great. She's pretty. She seems like a pretty cool girl. She's got her head on her shoulders. She's cool. And so I asked her out on a date. Knowing that she had little kids, I gave her 2 weeks notice. And so as we got closer to the day that we were going to go on our date, we text each other, we talk about things, and things are going seemingly well. Well, today is Friday, the day of the date, and she's canceling. She's saying that her babysitter is flaking because she works in a hospital and they're overstaffed because we're going through that whole coronavirus scare, which, it makes sense. I understand that. Followed by another excuse about her workload. And so for me, whenever someone gives me more than one excuse, it almost seems like they're lying. And from what some of the women said on my post, not knowing those two factors that I just stated, they said that she's just not into me, which could be true. I would like if she would have come out and told me she's not interested, because up until now, it seemed like she was pretty interested. And there are several factors that have changed as well. Since we're going through this whole coronavirus scare, we are on lockdown. We are in Sacramento, California, and we are definitely on lockdown. All the bars, clubs, and restaurants are pretty much closed. So going on a date to those things pretty much can't happen. I think my only option was going to a drive-in and hanging out at my house. So on a first date, I don't like really inviting people to my home. It's not really a comfortable situation for the woman. And since I don't know her, I don't want her seeing all my shit. And so that it might be a problem. Maybe that's what she's worried about. She did tell me yesterday that she had no problem doing whatever, and I gave her that option. I said, we can go to a drive-in, or we can hang out at my house, watch movies, eat snacks, and paint and drink wine. Sounds like a fun time, but she doesn't know me that well. And so if she were to convey that she was not comfortable, because I gave her the option. I said, if you're not comfortable, I completely understand. We can do something else. I gave her an opportunity and an out for that. So I believe that can't be a factor, but who knows? We live in a passive aggressive society, and, not telling what's on your mind seems to be an okay thing. But I'm not going to hold it against her because you don't know. But I did receive 2 separate excuses, and that kind of leads me to believe that maybe she's not being that truthful. Maybe she doesn't want to come over, and she's not comfortable. And so she's telling me that now the babysitter's not showing up and that she has a big workload all of a sudden. And maybe it's true. This whole coronavirus thing is definitely affecting everyone. Her friend that's supposed to watch her kid is a nurse. And so, of course, she's not going to be able to babysit because she's got to be at the hospital taking care of people. She also told me her child woke up with a stuffy nose, and she told me she had a workload. I had 3 excuses. My question to her was, hey, are we going to hang out later? And that was her response. Stuffy nose, her babysitter's a nurse, might have to work, and she has a big workload. All 3 of those things in the same text. She didn't say yes or no. So, there might be some passive aggressiveness in there. She could just tell me no, and I would be totally fine with that if given her opportunity to say no several times. So maybe she's leading me on. A lot of women on my Facebook said that she is leading me on and she's not interested. And, they don't have a lot of the facts. And a lot of these women are kind of biased because I noticed that every woman who has commented basically is a single mom. And so I guess they didn't appreciate my preference. I'm going to make a video about how men are not allowed to have preference. It seems like men are expected to do whatever a female wants based on being offered nothing. I will talk about that in other episodes. My belief that women have been elevated because of having a vagina. Pussy's amazing. Sex is amazing. It's definitely a power that women have over us. They use it to their advantage, and they will continue to use it to their advantage. So we've given them the belief that they don't have to really bring anything to the table, and we have to wait. So in this situation, I believe being a single mom, knowing that she's got that magic, I'm just supposed to wait. But the way I look at things are, if I meet someone who doesn't have kids, I would prefer that over someone who does have kids because I like to do spontaneous things. I don't want to plan on a date for 2 weeks and then at the last minute on the day of the date, you can't do it. I've been in situations where I've planned out a date for somebody who has kids. They flaked, and then we plan another date. They flake again, and then flake again, instead of just simply saying they're not interested. Not everyone's going to be attracted to me. Not everybody's going to want to date me. Sometimes things will go great for weeks, and then suddenly a loss of interest. It happens. Women are very unstable. Another thing that I've noticed in someone I dated right before this person, the vibes were great. One night I said I had to go to bed early for a meeting the next morning, which was true. The next day she said, I'm tired. I'm not going to be able to talk tonight. The next night, I'm tired. I'm not going to be able to talk tonight. The next day was the date of our date. I gave her a week and a half heads up because she has a small child. She was able to go on the date, but she emphasized how excited she was about meeting up with her friends after the date. So prior to me going to bed early that night, she was very excited to meet me. She was feeling me. Everything was going great. But then after I had to go to bed early, her vibe completely changed. She was no longer excited about the date, and she was more excited about hanging out with her friends. That day, maybe 3 or 4 hours before the date, a friend of mine who was a female just told me, hey, she's just not interested into you anymore. I let her see the text messages, and I trust her. She's a woman. She knows. So I decided to send out a text message saying, hey, suddenly some things have gone askew. The vibe has completely changed, and I'm no longer interested. And she said, I agree. Have a nice life. So was she going to go on that date with me to get a free meal, enjoy herself, to only probably tell me later that she's not interested? Those are the type of things that I deal with. I think it's pretty shitty, but that's kind of the way that the society is. And so that post started a big debate. I also posted that same post in a Men Don't Cheat group on Facebook. And it's mostly men on that site. And pretty much all of them agreed. A little background on me. I was a single dad for almost 5 years. So I know that there are time restraints, and there have been times where I hadn't been able to go on dates. I didn't date much. And I never held it against anybody. I've been in situations where women won't date me because I have kids, and they have kids. It's just one of those things. It's kind of mind blowing. And so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. I really don't prefer dating single moms. I won't say that I won't date a single mom, but I do approach it with caution because there are several things that come along with that. And we just have to be honest about that. Even in the best scenario, let's just say she has teenage kids. They can watch themselves. And then her ex-husband or whatever, ex-boyfriend or whatever, or baby daddy is a good guy and he takes care of his kids and there's no drama. Well, a lot of the times I cannot go back to her place. She has to come to my place, which is not that big of a deal, but that's pretty much the only problem. I have no problem with that. I actually would prefer a woman who has older kids who can watch themselves, and she will be able to come out and do whatever. Sometimes their kids will call them tons of times knowing that they're out on a date. I actually had that recently with someone that I've been talking to, and her kids were calling every 15 minutes. And so, like I said, there are just certain things that come along with dating a single mom that is not preferred by me, but I'm not going to eliminate them from being able to date. I'm very open-minded, but these are things that I have to bring to the attention of others. I would prefer to date someone who does not have kids. If I called up someone else that I'm talking to and say, hey, let's hang out later, more than likely she can hang out. If she's into me, she'll want to hang out. I can say, let's hang out tomorrow, the next day. There's no notice that is necessary. We can go on adventures and have fun. And I prefer that. And why wouldn't you prefer that? But because I said that's my preference, I got attacked by a lot of single moms. And I started out that post by saying there's nothing wrong with dating single moms. But they don't understand that there are limitations. They want to be treated the same way that a single woman who doesn't have kids. A lot of people don't want to believe that they are lesser than someone else. Some people like dating women with kids. I have friends that prefer to date women with kids. It's all about preference. And so I'll do another episode on preference later. I truly believe that men are simply not allowed to have a preference. I will cover other bases later on, but yeah, I don't prefer to date single moms. There's just too much baggage that comes along with it. I'm sure that women have had that same idea about me because I have 2 kids. They don't live with me, but I have had women say they won't date me because I have kids, even if they had kids. I actually had a woman tell me that I was weak because I had children by white women. And this person has been known to date guys straight out of prison. So it's all preference. It doesn't ever have to make sense, but that's just kind of the way it is. So leave a like, a comment below, and we'll keep it going. I will release more podcasts, more discussions later, and we'll have plenty to talk about. Thank you very much.